All right, everybody, welcome. Oh, should we get a little sound clip, a little sound to get us started? Let's see, do I have desktop audio? Yeah, I do. Let's see, let's test the desktop audio. Yep. No, it's muted. There we go. Now we got desktop audio. Desktop audio. Kaboom, kaboom, cool. All right, let's play a little sound to get us started. This one. No, not this one. This one. Okay. That's our little introduction sound. Welcome to the formatting podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the Utah Open Records, not so much about the portal itself, but open records in general in Utah. And we're going to be working on formatting the GRAMA documentation. This is the statute from the Utah Code. Title 63G, Chapter 2, Government Records Access and Management Act, also known as GRAMA. This is the main way in which people in Utah get access to public records. It's not the only way. They also, depending on what the entity is that is receiving the request, if it's a state entity or a county or a city, they're going to want to do GRAMA typically. However, with a federal entity, they have different guidelines that they just refer to straight up as FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. And then additionally, there are other guidelines for discovery materials, which actually most of my work that I'm doing right now is with discovery materials. But that's quite emotional for me to get into, whereas just working on the document formatting with the GRAMA is going to be more relaxing for me today. You can see that I've already made some progress on this document, but it's also still got a long ways to go. Let's kind of zoom out and take a look at it. Uh-oh, the computer's going to freeze. I zoomed out too far. Okay, there we go. So it's like 4 by 8. So it's maybe about 30 pages long. If that's the entire, it might be missing some information. But if that's the entire GRAMA statute, then that's not bad at 30 pages. Regardless, we're going to be formatting, improving the readability, squeezing it down. If we see like extra space, like this space here, we might see if we have ways to reduce those spaces. Some of this stuff is probably not necessary. We'll probably get rid of some of that stuff. We'll definitely find ways to reduce space. Let's see what the font size is. Oh yeah, so right now it's at 8 point, so that's pretty large. We could reduce that, although 8 point is very nice for readability. Let's go ahead and take a look at our styles and see what we've got set up here so far. All right, so I can see already in this document that I've got it set up really nicely with these paragraph styles that represent the different levels of indentation. So I love that. I've got section title, part subtitle, part title, and AZ big title. So those are my paragraph styles that it looks like I've been using in here. This is my full GRAMA document. I also have another one that's just a smaller section of GRAMA. Don't need this one right now. GRAMA full. There we go. GRAMA appeals. So this is just the appeals stuff. Oh, look, in this one I do not have those paragraph styles set up yet. Interesting. So this document is a little bit more raw. And yeah, you can tell just by looking at it, I haven't really formatted it yet. But this one is theoretically only just 2-401. So it's only a part of it. Although this says 103. This needs some organizational work. And there's that same section 103 right there. So it looks like I've already got stuff formatted here in the bigger document. And I'll probably be able to find the stuff for the appeals in here as well. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and close out this appeals document. So I'm just going to focus on the full-on GRAMA legislation. The first thing I want to do is go through and check and see if I've got any keyboard shortcuts set up in here for managing these different paragraph levels. And I've identified a nice area where I can test out the different paragraph levels. There's level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay, well that's as deep as it gets right now, but I can test those out right now at least. So I'm going to go ahead and check my keyboard shortcuts. Normally I would have something like, I don't know, maybe Shift F3. What's this one? Space delete, tab swap. Okay, F2 is space delete, F9 is tab swap. Those are some macros I've got set up in there. Here we go. There it is, look. Shift F3, Shift F4, Shift F5, Shift F7, and Shift F8. Sick. Looks like Shift F10. Not really sure on that one. But Shift F3. Okay, I'm going to test them out. Look, there's even F7 and F8. F5, F4. So if I'm holding Shift and I press those F keys, looks like I've already got that keyboard shortcut set up here and it's working properly. Nice. What about default paragraph style? Do I have that anywhere? Let's see. Is this one default? It's 1. This one default? It's 1. One, 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 one. Alright, what about the very end of the document? Wow, it looks like the document has mostly been formatted. Oh, here's the appeals process. No, it's a different part of the appeals process. Political subdivisions may adopt ordinances in compliance with chapter. Okay, so these things are referencing a different section, which probably does reference the appeals process. Let's try to find that. That would be Chapter 2, Part 4. Here it is. Oh, so it looks like in the smaller document, I still wanted to go in and get the general definitions, and so I was including these general definitions in there as well. Just getting all of the GRAMA stuff all together in one document is really going to be the way to go for me. But the main part that I am after for my current ongoing efforts is this part right here, part 4. Page 19, okay. I'd like to make this chapter stand out a little more. It's a little bit bigger. Let's see, borders. Okay, so I'm making a top border and I'm pushing it up above there by a fifth of an inch. There. See if I can find part 3. 305, I'm getting close. There it is. Part 2, 205, 204. Oh, here's part 1. Okay, so we'll do big title here. And then part 2. There it is. Big title there. And the main title also has a big title there. And it looks like I may have set up custom borders on that one. But I think that works fine like that. I can always touch it up later. What's that? Section title. Okay, so that's cool because that means that probably all the section titles are already styled like that. It means I went through and did my work before. In fact, I can double check. Let's see. Right here. Here's another one. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and modify section title and make it bigger. Just make it stand out so I can go through here and understand. Just make things a little more readable. Okay, see, I just took those all up to 10 point. So some of them are going to be too big now, and I'm not going to like them like that. But for right now, as I'm just kind of going through and making sense of this document, it's going to make it a lot easier for me to spot those section titles. Now they're quite easy to spot. Another thing I could do is I can add a little extra space up above them. That also helps. Indents and spacing above paragraph. We'll just make it 0.3 for now. So now all of those have that extra space there. I did see something interesting, but it moved on me just now. I saw vexatious requester. Did you guys spot that? Maybe I'm not spelling it. Oh, here it is. There it is. It got moved from the middle of the page up to the top here. Vexatious requester. So I will review that to make sure that I never become a vexatious requester, hopefully. Some of these titles are a little hard to see with my big heavy heading up there. I'll just give a little extra space there. That's better. It'll make it easier to read stuff. So if you ever want to really learn whatever legal document or whatever legal topic it is that you need to learn, just go through this process of formatting it. And then while you're in the process, you'll just come along these little sections. 63G-2-305.5. Viewing or obtaining lists of signatures. 306. Procedure to determine classification. 307. Duty to evaluate records and make designations, classifications, and annotations. 308. Allowing or denying access based on status of information in a record. 309. Confidentiality claims. Records made public after 75 years. 310. And then we get into part 4. So just even that little bit of context is going to help me as I'm getting ready to focus my learning and my understanding on this part 4. Is there even a part 5? Probably is. Oh yeah, look at this. Part 8. So also by going through, and what I'm doing now is I just decided to make those part titles a little bit bigger. There's one, part 6. Part 5. Let's see, 403. Some parts don't exist. 404, 405, 406. Yeah, so there's probably no part 5. That's just the way it works with legal stuff sometimes. Here's part 7 though. Boom. Then we had a part 8. Page 61. Not really sure what that's about, so I'll go back through and check that later. But here's part 9. Okay, cool. So maybe that used to be page 61 and now it's page 27. So that's how much I've been able to reduce it down. It was probably even longer than that at some point. If you just try to print all this stuff up from off of the Utah Court's webpage, probably just GRAMA alone would be like 600 pages or something. Just the way it's formatted and stuff. By bringing it all down into one document like this, it really makes it much more organized. Vexatious requester. In part 3. Public records, private information, protected records. All that I think is protected records right there. And then viewing or obtaining lists of signatures. So, and then appeals. So I got denied a waiver of fees. So I'm going to try to appeal the fee waiver denial. Basically, it's going to cost me $70 to get this information, but if I can file this appeal within 30 days, then I may or may not get my appeal approved, in which case it'll cost less. That's it. So I think part 9, yeah. So I will have to go back through and figure out this page 61. I think I can just delete that, but I'm gonna read it carefully. Maybe I'll do that right now. Let's see. 63G-2-802 injunction, attorney fees and costs. As used in this section, defending party means. Anytime I see these definitions, I like to. I have a special keyboard shortcut I've created that automatically just makes them to that bold, bold, bold character style. Anytime I see one of those definitions like that in quotation marks. So this is 1, defending party. 2, district court. 3, subsection 6, subsection 6. Public benefit, requester, court may not award some certain fees, district court may assess against the requester reasonable attorney fees. Yeah, so it looks like this was just literally some kind of marker I was using at the time, way back when I first started. Okay, I didn't see any others of that kind of thing. This document is pretty close to being ready to print. I'm going to go back and redo all the header and footer, all the page margins. I'm going to rework even like the spacing of the paragraphs here, the spaces between paragraphs here. We can really crunch things down a lot by reducing those spaces. But right now, as I'm going through and looking for errors or looking for places where I missed something, you can see I'm just kind of like cruising around, just looking to see if anything really jumps out at me. It seems like I did a really good job previously whenever I'd gone through and set up these paragraph styles. There's a lot of things I could do to tighten it up even further, but it would take a ton of work. So just like to give you an example. Oh, it looks like I missed one. Look at this. Look, these are wrong. Missed them. Okay. So let's see. Now we get to get into some action here. If you hold down Shift, is it F3, F4? Okay, F3, F4, F5. Look, this one has an unwanted pilcrow as well. Oh, this one is actually, this one goes like that, and then this one goes like that, I think. Yeah. There we go, that's better. There we go. There we go, that's better. 1, 2. All these look nice. So it looks like I just missed a spot. Control S to save. But those are exactly the kinds of things I'm looking for. I'm just kind of cruising around here, and I'm going to miss some of them. I'm not going to nail all of them. I'll just spot a few of them like that. Like the one I just saw. And then some of them will slip under the radar, and that'll be okay. Look how long this section is. Yeah, protected records. So that's a really long section right there. I mean, wow. Yeah, so it's like several pages just on its own right now. It is kind of an important section. That's the section the jail cites in order to excuse itself from providing video surveillance footage. Of the things that occur within those walls. You know, it might be nice just to have the names of the parts, because part 2 is access to records. I could also, another thing I can do is I can make this part big, and it won't repeat the line. That's kind of a fun thing, that if you make them both that same style, the line only gets there one time. Like a table of contents at the very beginning, just saying the parts. See, there's the part, there's one of the parts. So I'm going to go and I'm going to make my own little homemade table of contents. Let's see. Here. De minimis. De minimis. We actually want to go to this is the Utah State Courts rules, but I want to go to actually statutes. Utah statute, GRAMA. That'll get me there. There we go. There it is. That's what I want. Now look how I put it in here. I'm going to do paste special unformatted, and it's just going to inherit whatever formatting it gets there from the rest of it. Now this one, actually, I do want formatted all big like that, but the rest of them I don't. So these ones all are going to go more like that. There we go. That'll work for now. Even this paragraph will just like quickly do that. It'll probably get messed up later, but that's already going to be so helpful to have that information right there. General provisions, access to records, classification, appeals. That's the one I'm interested in. Collection of information and accuracy of records, applicability to political subdivisions, the judiciary, the legislature, and the governor and lieutenant governor, remedies, and public associations. That's very helpful. Another thing I can do is go through and put them on the same line like that. So here we go. That one's on the same line already. Ooh, maybe I can increase the space above it. Yeah. And I can make the line heavier. I can do all kinds of stuff here. What font size is it? 10. We can make it 11. That'll make it bigger. We can make the spacing above the paragraph up to 0.3. And we can push the border up there further. We can even make it heavier. We can make it like 5 point, 4 point. That's already too crazy. We can do it like that. Say okay. Boom, now it's really noticeable. That's just making it easier for me literally right now going through here. Because there it is. That's what I wanted to spot. See that? I'm going to bring that up here onto the same line here so that it's nice and big. Classification, is that what that is? Classification. Public records, private records, and then comes private information concerning certain government employees, controlled records, and then protected records. And that's several pages. Then we get down to viewing or obtaining lists of signatures. Confidentiality claims, procedure to determine classification, and then records after made public after 75 years. Then we get down to part 4. Oh, here we go. Check it out. Boom. What else? There is no part 5. See, so this is a place where, really for all of these big titles, I'd like to do them like this. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Screw it, I'm going to fix them. So the way to fix these is to set them up like this. Like that. And then instead of spaces, to use a tab stop here. If we activate Pilcrow visibility, you can see the tab stop there. Probably don't need quite that much space underneath this paragraph. We probably prefer to have that space above the paragraph. Oh, it doesn't really have much underneath it. So most of that extra space there is actually coming from this guy. I don't know, unless... There we go. I used Control M to remove any direct formatting, and then I went and redid that whole little fix there. Got it back the way I like it. Now all of them should be set up that way. So I'm going to go find 7. There's 7. Give it a tab stop. See how it's lined up like that? It looks a little busy. Well, let's see. Applicability to political sub. Yeah, that's the big long one anyways. But for all the other ones, it seems pretty good. Part 8. See, watch. Activate Pilcrows. Okay, we're going to put in a tab stop. Delete. Now look, it's all size 11. It's all consistent. And it's got that tab stop location that I set up on one of the other ones. I can move that around. I can go back and move it. There we go. Tab, delete. Nice. Oh, look, there it's missing the space underneath because this one probably... There we go. There's one of those size. I just made one of those size that I noticed in a previous live stream. What does that sigh mean? Whenever I catch myself doing it, I try not to do it. But I don't even know if it's bad. Maybe it's a good sigh. Oh, there we go. So I need to activate the Pilcrows. There we go. See? That'll make it easier. Boom. Part 4. Let's see. There's part 1. There, so you got the extra spaces. See how easy they are to spot with the Pilcrows activated? Part 2, part 2, part 2. Subpoenas, court-ordered disclosure for discovery. Ooh, that's interesting stuff for me. That's stuff I'm interested in. Oh, look. All these spaces will be converted into one tab. Classification. Appeals, I already got that one. There is no part 5. Here's part 6. Got that one. Collection of information. Got this one. Part 7. Applicability. Remedies. Got that one. All nice and formatted. Part 9 is formatted. Cool. We can also adjust the width between the columns. We can adjust how close the columns are to the edges. We can adjust how close the header and footer are to the top and bottom. We can make the header and footer smaller and bigger. But we're really going to shrink it down now by, oh, and we're up to 28 pages now because I increased some of the spacing in some places. Another thing we'll usually check for, let's go ahead and check, is for the text flow. We want the titles, especially the big titles, to keep with the next paragraph like that. Let's check this one. Yep, that one is also keeping with the next paragraph. Let's see, what about this one? Yep. And the last one, we'll check. Yep. Okay, so those are all good. And what that means is that, like, if I move things around, this stuff will stay together with each other. They won't get broken up. Because now I'm going to do a bunch of moving stuff around. Okay, Control S to save. I think I'll go ahead and save a second version actually right now. Control Shift S. 63G2 version 2, I guess. There. Because I'm about to make some major changes here. So what about where's 1? Here we go. About these, so these might all be properly receiving from default paragraph style if I got it set up so awesome. We'll see right now. If I can just modify the default paragraph style and just have everything in the whole place change. All this is 0, 0, 0, so that does not look promising. Arial 8 point. Okay, let's see what happens if we change this. Yeah, that changed everything. So a lot of stuff is receiving from this. So I just turned it to 7. But really what I'm actually interested in is kind of the spacing between the paragraphs, which has 0, 0, 0. Line spacing single. Okay, so now we're going to check, and we're going to go through one by one with the paragraph numbers, or the paragraph styles. So here's level 1 right here. It's single spaced and it's got 0.8 below. Let's take it down to 0.2 below. We'll probably do something similar on all of these, but what are they single for real? Make them 95%. See, that's too tight now. If they're 95%, that's really tight. So in that case, they would need extra space below. Oof. I don't know. See, so now I can start to look at them and see what they're looking like. These guys are too far spaced out. See that? These ones look all right. Oh, look at these. Okay, look at these words, these definition words. They did not inherit. So I'm going to go in here and change this. And now all those will get updated. It's a little tight because I made them at 95%, except for these main paragraphs. Should I make those 95% too? Like that. And then we just got to find some that are really deep. There, these ones are supposed to be deep. Yeah, like that. Like that. That. Looks like I just accidentally nailed that one. It seems like I'd gone through and gotten some of them, but not all of them. Like I'd gotten the I's and the like ABCs and stuff, but I'd missed the capital A's and the capital B's and the capital C's. Is that, yeah, look at that. There's another one. I don't know if this like missed my attention. Let's see, what's the shortcut for this? Is it Shift F5? Shift F7. I can do that. There's some more, see? Shift F7. Oh. Pilcrow. There they are again. But now I've got this nice keyboard shortcut set up. And wherever I identify these types of paragraphs, I can just very easily get them into place. And so I'm looking for capital letters. So that appears to be what I've been missing previously. Another thing I can do is I can adjust how far these are indented in. If I feel like they're indented maybe farther than they need to be in some cases. This one also. Which one is this? Shift F5. F7. Oh, I can also increase the number of columns, which usually will reduce the page count. I'm already down to 21 pages. just with what I've done is I've reduced the spacing, the line spacing from single to 95%, and then I've reduced the space after the paragraphs to be pretty small, but there's still a space between paragraphs, which makes it much easier to read, especially when you're sorting through these kind of legal documents. Most of the paragraphs you just skip over, but then some of them you want to spend a lot of time on. And so just being able to distinguish from one paragraph to the next is very, very, very helpful. I accidentally held down F7. I meant to hold down Shift so I could scroll like this. Looking for those capital letters. Something about peace officers. Oh, look, here we have some more definitions. Private information concerning certain government employees. I don't know, is that overkill with the bold words there? Maybe it'll make it easier to understand stuff in the future. Maybe it'll be helpful. Oh, look, there's some capital letters in the right spot, just where they're supposed to be. That's good. Oh, there we go. I've already gone through this whole document and removed unwanted pilcrows. That was a massive effort. While I was doing it, I went through and did most of the original application of formatting. So now you can really see we are closing in on the finish line here. Oh, there we go. There's one. That's it. Yep. Yep. There we go. AB for AB. I. AB, I. And then that's why we're mostly looking for those capital letters, because even those I's, those lowercase Roman numerals, most of them I already got them properly formatted. I missed a few of them. Kind of look for those too, but it's really those capital letters, like this one. See, there we go. There they are. There's some. I think I already got those ones right though. Let's see. Something's wrong. There we go. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. When in doubt, just press Control Z and then Control Shift Z and then Control Z and then Control Shift Z. Do, redo, redo, undo, redo, undo, redo. Anyway, those ones were correct and they are correct. And look, there, these ones are too. They're there. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, all lined up. Just so, just so. Oh, there's some. Found some more. Did you guys see them? So they're right along here. See them? Boom. Nice. See if there's any more here. Oh, there's some. There's one. There's some. Oh, these are not right. Look, this one's not right. There we go. There's some. Those are good. Okay, I think I got them all on that page. Let's see here. There's some. I'm going to start going faster and not dictate to the audience every single thing that I spot. But you can see what I'm doing here. You can see what I'm looking for. There might have been a section in the middle, like the first third, that I didn't go through and look for these in. Let's see if around here if we find any. Looking for those are good right there. Those are properly formatted. We're looking for the capital letters, and even they're not properly formatted. Not seeing too many capital letters up over there. But once we get into this section, it looks like, yeah, that we've already got them. So it'd just be the very beginning that I might have missed. Yep, there we go, look. So I do still have some. I'm going to start at the very beginning then. Find any of them that I've missed. It'd be a nice chance to go through the whole thing. General provisions. General provision starts with definitions, audit, chief administrative officer, chronological logs, government audit agency, contractor, designation, designate, classify, individual, schedule, record, record, private record. A book, junk mail, proprietary. See, those are things that I'd be interested to put them in bold, but I'm not going to go to the effort right now. Pass keys and stuff. I'm going to just only leave it to what I've already got that way. These I could make smaller. I don't know that I need them that size. See, like these ones here. Yeah. Let's see. What style did I use there? A, footnotes, footnotes, footnotes. Just below addresses. Right there. Okay, well apparently that's the way it does it. It's the way I set it up last time. I don't know if this will make it more readable or not. We'll do Shift Enter. Shift Enter, Control Z, so it turns it back into just a double hyphen. Shift Enter, Control Z. I guess that helps a little bit. Just for this one that has all that words there. Okay, but we're back on the hunt for capital letters. Oh, and I just found one. Boop, boop, boop. Look at this. Got a Pilcrow here. Got some more. I think I had not yet set up this keyboard shortcut whenever I went through and did some of the other, like the lowercase Roman numerals and the lowercase letters and stuff. Really just captures a moment in time. AB for AB. Those are already formatted. Those are formatted. Those are formatted. Okay, I think I'm good. And again, I probably missed one here or there. Oh, look, this one should be... Why is it not linked up with the next paragraph? Oh, look. Just for this weird situation that happened. So I'm just going to directly format this paragraph. And I'm going to tell it to text flow with its next paragraph. And that's going to keep both of those down here to the next page. So it just took both of those from right here and it pushed them over to here. Because I told this number 1 to stay with this letter A. And this one already knew to stay with the letter 1. And so by telling the letter 1 to stay with the letter A, it brought both of them down here to stay with the letter A. Those will get bumped around and moved around. See, I would like to ideally do that to like this one as well. See? Just do the same thing. Just in case when I'm moving paragraphs around. And I would like to go through and do that to all of them that look like that, but that's alright. We'll get some of them. I'm formatting this for my own use to be able to read it and figure stuff out. Now, another next thing that I'm thinking about doing is more columns. I'm at 21 pages right now. All right, I can also shrink this one down. Let's reduce the font size on that. Okay. No, we'll just do it just on this one. Do some direct formatting. Just add a little bit of space right there. That's going to be nice. That's good. That's fine. Okay, now we're going to change the columns. So the way I like to do that, I just go into the page styles, default page style, modify. Ooh, should we try 4 or 5? I think 4 is enough. Spacing, we can reduce. Auto width is fine. Okay. Okay. Normally this printer tends to print stuff a little bit far over this way, and it tends to leave space here. So it looks like I've already got the page pushed over to the right a little bit, which is good. Let's see, do it a little bit farther. Yeah, that'll be all right. Header, let's see, 12 point, I don't know. Ooh, 14 point. Let's make it all 12 point. That's better. Arial black, Arial, Arial. Look, I actually want, okay, so actually, it's going to be easier to read and easier to understand if, instead of having the page number here, if I have the word GRAMA right there. And then for right now, we'll just have the page number way off to the right. What would be really dope is if I could even say like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Oh, I do know how to do that. I can do that. Should I do that? Let's see what we're looking like with these 4 columns right now. Like by moving that GRAMA over, it's not competing so much with the words here, which is nice. And when I made it smaller too. I might compete still a little bit there. So then I just do Control A, Control C, and come down here, Control A, Control V, and that just makes them match top and bottom. Ooh, although look, this is still Arial. Interesting. Oh, and this one too, look. Okay, that's nice. That's tight. Just, I'm always pushing the limits with the page numbers, trying to push them way off of the margins, see if I can even get them to print. Let's see. I think the way my printer is, actually it has an easier time printing like way out to the edges over here. And actually where it's going to have trouble, I think, is right here. Yeah. Now that I think about how my printer works. There we go. That's better. That's better. We spread it out to the corners of the page that way. Dope. I'm really pushing the limits. I might lose some of these letters here. And I've got it down to 19 pages. So I just went to all that effort to squeeze out 2 pages. And I can see a lot of ways I can squeeze out a lot more space. But it's getting to be pretty nice. I'm just going to go ahead and print a test PDF. This will be a nice proof sheet. I'll do Control S to save before I proceed. And then I'll go File, Export as PDF. Yeah. Okay, alright, okay, yeah. Yeah, version 2, PDF. Statutes, good. GRAMA, full, nice. Okay, save. Sick. Okay, so now what I do, you can see it's exporting it there, and then it'll show up in here somewhere. There. And now it just pulls it up here in my internet browser. I go to 2-page view. And this gives me an idea of what it's going to look like when I actually print it out. I can also kind of go through here and read it and study it if I want to. I could even like probably do annotations. What? Yeah. Like highlighter there. See, I could be like, oh yeah, see, this section is really important here. But usually what I want to do is instead is that I just go through, and sometimes I'll print 1 page. I'll just test print 1 page. I don't know if I'm quite ready to test print 1 page, but maybe there's a page I'd be interested to study. I think I'll just test print page 1. Did you see that? This is considered the printable area. And then just 100% is the same as fit to paper. So it's definitely outside of the printable area. This will be a nice way for me to test it. So rather than printing all 19 pages, I'm just going to print. Oh, I had my printer turned off. Let's see here. Oh, I had my legs crossed for quite a few minutes. Now I got a kind of a little bit of a stretchy cramp in one of my legs. Turn the printer on, give it a minute to get all booted up. That is a lovely sound right there. The sound of justice. Ooh, very good. Okay, who wants to make a prediction as to which of the margins had problems? And by the way, I'm still learning with this printer and figuring out kind of I could maybe print that same page again and get different results, although I would not want to do that because I'm very picky with I don't want to waste the toner. And it's really all about the toner is the main thing. And also just the life of the printer. It will eventually have printed as many prints as it can do. Right now it has a lot of life left in it. And I'm looking here at this proof of page 1. Who wants to guess how it did with the margins? The margins, again, I'm still learning with this printer about exactly what the, there could be, some days it might look different than others, but in general, I'm getting a sense of it. And just looking at this page, what do you think? Where do you think I might have had the most trouble with the margins? Do you think it would be along the left side, or along the right side, or along the top, or along the bottom? Well, when I printed it up, actually the bottom got cut out, the footer got cut out a little bit, and a tiny bit of the header got cut out as well, but most of the header is visible. As far as on the right side or on the left side of the page, nothing got cut out. All the words are visible, all the letters are visible. So that means that I still have some space to play with, especially it looks like over here on the right side of the page. And that might help me to shrink it down to 18 pages. By exporting this to a PDF, I can also kind of get a sense of how my headers and footers look. Obviously, my headers and footers are very unique and identifiable. Most people don't do headers and footers like that, the way I do these headers and footers. They don't usually repeat the page at the top and the bottom. That's pretty unusual. And it's unusual to see them repeating on the left side also. Same information on top and bottom. Usually you would normally see different information on top and bottom. That's just part of my unique labeling style. And it works out for me. Once I have, reams of pages of copies of volumes of different statutes, once I have hundreds and hundreds of pages, I mean, I'll probably have about 400 pages that I've produced so far. And they just get more and more concise, more and more compact. And at the same time, more and more coherent, more and more easy to read because of the excellent formatting. Just looking at this proof page, I might be able to reduce the space between some of these paragraphs. But as far as legibility goes, just looking here on page 1, on the 4th column, notice here how person means, and then look at the spacing here between these paragraphs. That's very legible. It's very easy to read. We do see here that I missed how I'm trying to get all these quotation marks to be in bold, so I did miss one of those. Overall, it's very readable, it's very legible, it's very organized. And with this 7-point font, that is really just a nice font size because it's small, and I've got it at 95% line spacing. So it's very small, but it's very easy to read. 6-point is difficult to read. And I gotta say, the difference between 6-point and 7-point is worth it for me. And I bet other people would be even more worth it for them. But I might reduce the paragraph spacing. I'm still gonna think about that. Overall, I'm very happy with this first version 2. This is my first version 2. I will make subsequent version 2s after this. They'll be even superior. Here we are back to the document. Really, there is a proper process for this, and it involves taking time to think about things. Anyone who has experience as a writer has learned about the importance of stepping away from a project and coming back to it later. And after making the changes that I've made just now, it really is a good time for me to step away from the project and then come back to it. I do, however, want to get this little bit of bold. Oh, look, there's another one. Notice of compliance. Oh my gosh, that just gave me like a wow. Just when I read that notice of compliance and seeing there's information here, I got this rush of like kind of it feels like fear, but what it is, it's a rush of adrenaline and like intensity. Like it's kind of, it feels almost like a rush of anger. These are anxiety symptoms which I experience. These are symptoms of acute anxiety, which are symptomatic of post-traumatic stress disorder. Hey, they got another one right there. See that? Anyway, the reason that really triggered my interest is notice of compliance. You know, my whole case is all about notices that my current littering case is that I posted some notices. So even though I don't know what this little definition is about, I'm surprised that it snuck past that I had not noticed it previously, that I had not seen this thing previously. I would have normally spotted that. And I was like, what? I hadn't spotted something about notices and compliance. And what it means, now I know, is a statement confirming that a governmental entity has complied with an order of the Director of the Government Records Office. A statement confirming. Oh, wow. I mean, I almost just want to underline it. I'll go back and highlight it once I print it out, but I've got it right here actually. Anyway, it'll get a lot of attention. That's interesting. A statement confirming. That's all a notice is, just a statement. A notice is a statement. That's such an important concept for me to try to find more support of. Individual means a human being, but a person means an individual or a nonprofit or profit corporation or a partnership or a sole proprietorship or other type of business organization or any combination acting in concert with one another. So a person could mean a human being, or it could mean a lot of other things, but an individual specifically means a human being. So that's kind of cool. I mean, people in different states, might have problems with this definition of person. For me, I'm not here to judge that today. I'm just here to learn what it means in this state. And I'm not the person who decides that. So I'm just going to accept that in the state of Utah, that a person could also be referring to a company, a business. But an individual is going to be specifically referring to a human being. So when we talk about an individual here in the state of Utah, we're talking about a human being. I have not printed up this full document yet to study it. I've just printed the first page. Look at all this information that I'm learning already. All this vocabulary that I'm starting to get an idea about these different records. Oh, Eagle Dog, how can we get a copy of this document for ourselves? Oh, wow, that's a good question, chat. Gosh. Okay, I'll tell you how. Okay, this is actually for real. This is for real. Okay, I don't know how to put this up to the internet right now for everybody to get it in a way that I would be comfortable with and everybody else would be comfortable with. Like, I might find a way to do it on Google Docs, but I would have to think about that first. It's not my number one preferred way for sharing PDFs and stuff. Ideally, I would like to make it available to y'all's even as like a Word document, or in this case, I'm on. Oh, here's another one where we might want to push it to the top. See all this right here? I'm on LibreOffice. This is like an ODF document. All right, can I do it like this? Control Shift F. Yeah, I can do it. Look at this. I made up my own shortcut to get in there, adjust this paragraph. I'm just going to do the old text flow trick, doobity doo. And there we go. Because we want part 3 to be up at the top, you know, so it looks almighty. Even if it ends up taking us an extra page. Although we might go back and change our mind about that later, but for now. There's Vexatious Requester. It's moved all over the place, from the right side to the left side, to the middle, to the front, to the bend, to the bend, to the end. Those parts are very identifiable. Those sections are very identifiable. We might not need the letters to be that big for all these different section heads. Or we might like it like that. Let's see how it looks on the... It looks actually really nice on the printout. It doesn't look too big at all. It looks like they all just have one space there and not even a tab stop. Interesting. Here on LibreOffice, Control F10 is a built-in shortcut to turn on and off the Pilcrow marks. I like that nice heavy line there. I guess what's nice about these section heads is they got nice big letters, but they don't have a big space underneath them, but they do have a space above them. All those aspects make them easier to work with. We could still put a space or a tab stop here, and we could format these, so I'll just demonstrate with this one. Okay, so what we could do is this space, we could turn it into a tab stop. And then we could use the paragraph formatting up here so that the tab stop aligns over yonder. Or maybe we want it like this. What we could do is we could update all of these section titles to look the same way. That does make them even a little bit easier to read and a little bit easier to understand. It also makes them take up a little bit more space. Let's go ahead and do it. So I'm in LibreOffice. Your keyboard shortcuts are going to be a little bit different in Microsoft Word, but all the principles and concepts are all identical. You get your styles pulled up there. You got a whole bunch of different types of styles: page styles, character styles, paragraph styles. Main one we care about is paragraph styles. Now all we're going to do is we're going to update the section title to match this one. So we just say update selected style, boom, see, now it updated all of them. But I have to put in the tab stop myself. So I'm going to have to go around and do that. I have a keyboard shortcut for that. Is it F9? Let's see. Oh, no, it gobbled up a letter. Did you see what it did? It gobbled up a number. I'm going to have to edit my F9 shortcut. In order to do that, I'm just going to go into the macros, edit the macro. I know I've already got it all set up and it's totally dope. I just need to make it so it doesn't gobble stuff up. So I'm pretty sure it's in 2026. What's it called? Here we go. Tab swap, I think. There we go. See, it's doing backspace, backspace. I only want to do backspace once. There, I just commented that crap out. So now it should only backspace once. All done. Save. Control S. I don't even know how to save the macros. I think they just save. See, like, I don't know. I don't even know if Control S did anything there, but now it should be able to do it. So now it should just F9, come on, baby. Yeah, there. See, it only does one backspace. Boom. Boom. I don't know how many of these I have. There's one. Boom. 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 Can you see how much time I save by just using that little shortcut like that? But Eagle Dog, I've done this a million times. It's so easy. I just do backspace tab, backspace tab, backspace tab, backspace tab. And it is easy. And you go around with the arrows, right? And you hold down the control key to get around faster and use the page up and page down. The only real difference between that and what I'm doing right now is that I don't have to take my hand off of the mouse. I can keep my right hand on the mouse the whole time and keep my left hand just positioned over, in this case I'm using the F9 key, but it could be any key I want it to be or any shortcut I want it to be. But in this case I'm literally just using F9 so that I don't have to go backspace tab, backspace tab, backspace tab, backspace tab. I've done backspace tab a lot of times in my life. I'm not above doing backspace tab. The efficiency comes from the fact that I don't have to move my hands around. That I'm able to keep my right hand on my mouse, and with the left hand I keep it in one spot. I don't have to take my eyes off of the monitor. Ooh, vexatious requester. There it is. Vexatious requester for me is like a landmark. You know, like when you drive around town and you get to know town because it's like, oh yeah, that's where the McDonald's is. Okay, it's a landmark. Or oh, that's where the that one tree is, you know, or where that, there's where the park is, or there's that one cool building, the old sign. There's the old sign, landmark. Oh, not there. If I do it there, it's going to erase the F. I got to get in the right spot. Come on. There we go. That's why I would like to have an arrow key on my mouse, so I could just use my thumb to go backward and forward sometimes like that. That's interesting. That's looking nice actually like that. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Do. Okay, and did we make it to the beginning already? Okay, that's it. So that was very easy. Is that? Oh yeah. On the original printout, it didn't look as good. I just made it better for Didn't even notice that. Control S, save as I go. I could even save it as version 3 at this point. Eventually, I don't need all these different versions, but I also look at how much space they're taking up. So let's go and look and see how much space this is taking up. The PDF. Let's see here. PDF is 237 KB. That's not very big. And the ODT file, Open Document Text, ODT, that's what it's called. ODT is 88 KB, so that's very small. So they're not taking up a lot of space, so I don't have to worry about it too much. I don't have to worry about it too much in terms of taking up a lot of space. I do have to worry always about losing data, right? That's always a concern, that you could lose data. So saving extra versions of it, version 3, version 4, that's always a good idea. You can always go back later and delete the unnecessary ones. You know, once you're all done, make sure you didn't delete anything, destroy anything. Okay, so here's a question. Does this level 2 really need to be indented that far? I mean, couldn't it be... Oh, isn't there a halfway point there? Come on. Right here, in between these two. And then this one, same thing, right? Well, then this one, it could do it just to right there. Oof. This would buy us a lot of extra space, but I would have to be able to do it through... I think it's too much work. I'm not going to do it. Okay. I don't want to mess with those spacings right now. I think they're okay. I could reduce the between the paragraphs, especially as I'm looking to finalize the document. I will walk away from it before I do a final print, and I will think about trying to get it down to 18 pages and how I might do that. There are a lot of ways I could easily accomplish that just by reducing the space above these section headers. I could reduce the font size of these section headers. They're 10 point, they're nice and big. Overall, I think the document just looks outstanding. Here's the print preview. I guess that's the way it works. Oh wait, look here. Oh, it's too late, I closed it. But there's a 4-page view. Okay, back to print preview, which in LibreOffice is Control-Shift-O. 4-page view. There we go. Nice. Wait, can we do... Yeah, there we go. That's actually really nice. And the benefit is that you can see the page numbers in the print preview. Oh, okay, one more thing before I wrap up for today. And I'll come back another time, either later on today or another time, and actually do the final proof before printing it. But this thing is basically good to go. 19 pages for such an important statute is a good page count. I'd like to get it down to 18. Should not be too difficult, especially with this little change right here. go like this and say above the paragraph is going to be less, like that much. We could also make the font size be like 9.5 instead of 10. Still be a nice visible font size. Okay, look, so all that is shrunk down. Did it change anything about the actual page count? Oh yeah, it did. See, look, it brought it down a little bit. Here's one we can change. Look, we can bring this in tighter. Oh. What happened? Okay, so then we want to update this style so that wherever, let's see if I can show you another before I do this. So this one's going to change also. It's going to match this one. So we're going to update this style. You'll see this one change. That one should match it now. See if there's others that be more noticeable. There we go. See, this one's going to match it now. So I brought it over to the left. But it's still not reducing the line count there. I don't know if that does anything for me. What else could we do? We saw that we have more space this way. Horizontally. But that we need to bring the header down a little bit like that. And the footer especially needs to come up a little ways. There we go. But these ones, okay, then the main page columns, we can actually have more space and stick them out to the end. Just jam them in there really good. That is almost definitely going to be too far. Oh, I know what I can do. What I can do is I can go into the actual page style and modify it from there. Page, here we go. Left. Point 2, 0.14, and right 0.14. So should we make them 0.2? No, let's make them 0.1. Both the left and the right. But then the top of 0.24, okay, so the top of 0.2 and the bottom of 0.2. Let's try it like that and see what happens. It's out of print range? Yes, I like that. Oh, look at this. Totally messed up this footer. And this header. Look at this. What's going on here? Who knows? Oh no, it's just everything's been messed up. Okay. See, and I didn't even save a version of 3 there, so I could have really messed up some stuff there if I wasn't more careful. So let's do Control-Shift-S. Let's save version 3 just in case everything gets completely freaking destroyed somehow. There we go. Now, we can always pull back out to version 2 if we need. I don't know. We'll try it like that, see what happens. And then over here, yeah, we're going bonkers. We're going for it. Oh, and look, that does get us down to page 18. Let's see. Okay, look. So actually, based on that, let's see what happens if we just give ourselves a little more space right here. Nothing. Oh yeah, everything. Look, okay. We got a little more space. Top of the page, bottom of the page, where do we need it? Left, right, in between the columns. I'm probably still a little bit tight on this far right side. Page 18, that's it. Boom, done. Okay. So Control S to save version 3. Look how beautiful it is. 18 pages, just like I wanted. Part 9, Part 8. All these different headings are very identifiable. Part 7, Part 6. We got the table of contents at the beginning. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, look how far over there this one is. Whoa. Yowzers. That one is way far off the screen. I don't know if those ones will be able to print. They are way far off. So sometimes what I'll do on something like this is I will actually put back in the original test page and I'll run it back through and print on the reverse side of it. It helps me to learn about the printing and the margins and pushing my luck on how far I can get. And also the printer sometimes has troubles, the rollers even picking up a page it's already been printed on. And I try to remember which way is top and which way is bottom, which way is up and which way is down. I think this one. Oh, whoa! What was that? Hey, that was kind of neat. Something happened. That's very neat. And all right, let's give it another whirl here. Do you ever mean to just print one page and then you accidentally print like the whole thing? Oh, good. Just the first page, thank you. Oh, and this time I'm printing it from a different program, so that could also give me different results. Just page 1, that'll be good. So the other time I exported it to PDF first. And this time I've just gone ahead and printed it. Version 3, sweet. Exporting as PDF. Let's go back in. Where was it? Here it is. So now I already know that the only difference in the name is version 3. So here's the version 3. Look how tight that is on the left edge. No printer can print that far off to the left. And look, something got messed up because the page number is way far off from the side also. So this is I've messed up my formatting here, but let's see what it looks like when it prints. yeah, it got the 3, but not the 6. So that is nice that it tells, I can see exactly how far it cut off, and it cut off the H, halfway across the H in chapter. Let's see if I can show you here with the mouse. Yeah, so it cut off like up to there. That's exactly where it cut off to, right to halfway across the H. And like everything else, just like the 6 is cut off, but the 3 is visible. Just a perfect line down like that. And everything else is good. Like all this stuff is nice. It printed nicely, like really close to the edge. Ooh, what about this far edge? Let's see about over here. Initial, accept, in. See if anything's over further than that. A by A. A also got printed. So unfortunately, I was not able to test the farthest most limits of the right margin with this printing. But I was able to identify that I've messed up the formatting of my headers and footers. Should be pretty easy to fix. There we go. Yeah, that happens sometimes when you mess with like margins and stuff. What's this one? Big title, or all of them like that? Nope, just that one. Dope. But we got to get this one over here. It's got to be way over here like this. There we go. There we go. What is it, like not even as far as that one? Yo. There we go. Yeah. I was like way over there. Well, let's see. I could actually yeah. I don't know, man. Let's not even play that game because I know I can print it like this. Oh, I don't know. It's kind of worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Man, I know I could get this one further over to the right. Yo, let's... No, I've already got my 18 pages. Look at that. It's perfect. We don't need to mess with anything here. Don't mess with perfection if it ain't broke. Okay. I want to say this is almost ideal. I really do feel, yeah, this one needs to go like that. There we go. Yeah. There we go. What? Alright. I don't know if that did anything or not, but sometimes it just makes you feel, it makes me feel very satisfied to like just readjust it like 1,200 times. Export directly as PDF means I guess get to skip all those questions that I don't understand. Yeah, we're gonna write over version 3. You wanna replace it? Yes. Okay, yes, 3. So now we should see that now the page number should move when we refresh it. Let's see. Yep. See that? The page number is now way over there. I still feel like I got a little bit of extra space off to the right I could use. And I feel like that 6 is going to get cut off a little bit. But I'll have extra space off to the right, even once I get up to page 12. Oh, and look, these ones are not aligned. Look at this, these page numbers, the top and the bottom. Other than that, the whole thing is incredibly excellent. Okay, so, Eagle Dog, how can we get a copy of the Utah GRAMA statutes? Utah Statute 63G-2. Title 63, Chapter 2. Ooh, I want to put in there also. Oh, yeah. I want to put in their title also, 63G. See, because what is even 63G about? I don't even know. Title 63G. Which is what? Which is what? Let's see here. We'll find out right now. General government. That's kind of boring. Oh, look at all these 63s. Oh, wow. A, B, C, D, E, no F, G, H, I, J, no K, L, M, N, O. We got government operations, bonds, state commissions, information technology, independent entities. General government, that's the one I'm in right now. Independent state entities, oversight, budgeting, lands, governors programs, Economic Opportunity Act, and Capitol Hill. And even just within 63G, state symbols and designations, then there's GRAMA, and then and then there's all this other stuff. State grants, immunity for persons performing voluntary services, Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games, all kinds of stuff here in general government. Free exercise of religion, ooh, that's good. Legal personhood, that's good. Distinction on the basis of sex, that could be interesting. Public notice, hello, that's related to my littering charge that they've got up against me. Social Credit Score Prohibition Act, I have no idea what that is. Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games, and then all kinds of just random stuff. Agreement to provide state services, biotechnology, state grants, procurement code. That's how they that's what they're required to do whenever they get like a state contract, and they contract with anyone to do something for the state. Dispute resolution, administrative procedures, so that could be very interesting. Administrative rulemaking. So this might be like all the Utah court rules might be right here in Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. I'm really not sure about that. Those could be interesting. The rest of this stuff I don't really need to like look at until I get down here to Chapter 30, 31, 32, 33. All of those I really want to know about. Ooh, I'm just going to look at 32. Legal personhood is restricted. A governmental entity may not grant legal personhood nor recognize legal personhood in artificial intelligence, an inanimate object, a body of water, land, real property, atmospheric gases. That is kind of obscure. Definitions. Land, human being. Wow. I mean, I will collect those and add them to my. I'll add them right now to what I'm doing. Okay, so just down here, what's that? Part subtitle. Okay. So I don't even know if I'm using that type of a paragraph anywhere else, but we'll do it right here. Whoa! Control Z. Okay, we'll make it a part subtitle first, and then we'll do that. Okay, paste unformatted. Well, that's still a lot, but I'm going to get rid of most of those because I'm only interested in... I don't know, I guess immunity is kind of interesting. Up to here. I'll be interested in 29 also. So these are probably all geared up to keep connected with the next paragraph. So what I'll do is I'll just modify this. Don't keep with the next paragraph. Oh, look, they have a tab stop built into them. That's nice. It's like they're already made for this. Update selected style. Watch them all fall into line. That was nice how they already had the tab stops in there. What's all this? Why are they... Oh, these ones have direct formatting. And it's interesting they say part and not chapter, and those are chapters. So I'll just do it like this on these ones. Just do them like this here. That'll work for now. And now I can adjust all these simultaneously. Perfect. And you know what I could actually do? I could make this a sub. We'll make this into a sub style. And we'll just give it the same name. What is it? Part subtitle, sub. Okay. Whatever. That's that one. Okay, so anytime I need that one, I know I've got it set up there if I need it. Actually, to make it fancy, there we go. Okay, and then this is the one. Are they already bold? They're already bold. Well, okay, I've got it kind of identified like that. See, so what I'm going to do here actually with this document, and this is why I have not fully printed it yet, is I see that I can give it more context, first of all, by putting this Title 63G. This is an abridged table of contents. It does not include everything. but it'll give me some reference, and then I can go in and say, okay, I think these chapter 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33 are relatively small chapters. I could be wrong. I certainly saw that chapter 32 is a relatively small chapter. So I'm going to see if I can go and pull in all of those and just stick them in here. So that instead of this just being only chapter 2 of 63G, I can also get chapter 30, 31, 32, 33 of Title 63G. Since those are going to be separate chapters, I might set them up kind of like this. But it'll be chapter 30. Okay, we'll start with chapter 30, maybe chapter 29. We'll come right down here to the very end. This is a paragraph style. I already know that. It's this one, footnotes, paragraph style. I'll get myself back into business to default paragraph style. In fact, we'll go to number 1, paragraph style. Then I'll just put a few spaces there for right now. A few ugly, unwanted pilcrows. Now I'm going to just straight up paste. There we go. But now instead I'm going to do chapter 30. Is that right? Chapter 29. I'm going to go find out what it is. Social Credit Score Prohibition Act. There we go. Oh. Beauty. And look, for some reason it's bringing in these tab stops for me, which I haven't really felt that it's done for me before. That really changes things. Let's see what happens if I actually put the proper formatting here. So that's level 1, level 2. Now let's use my keyboard shortcuts. Is it even bold? Oh my gosh, it's bold. Why is it like that? No. Oh, I know why. It's because I got to get it back to like a simple default paragraph style. There we go. Let's get to level 1. Yeah, and then we'll do unformatted. There we go. Still, those tab stops are unexpected. I'm sure they'll be just fine. Our house in the middle of the street. 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 Da 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 da. Dun 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 dun. Ooh. Dun 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 dun. Now this is interesting. These ones, these paragraphs don't have any subspacing. And so if I try to set that up now, it could create some conflicts, but I don't want to go back through and put it back in the tab stops through all those ones. So I'll just leave it for now. the footnotes. There we go. Next section is going to be social credit score prohibition. So this will be a section head, section title, right? Yeah, there we go. Boom, section title. Nice. Oh, and then there's a PDF option. Maybe that's why I didn't have the tab stops. It's different if you pull it from the PDF. So if I want to go back in, no. See, if I go to PDF, then it won't have the tab stops. Okay, good to remember. So then that was chapter 29. That was short. Let's go to chapter 30. Public notice. Definitions. See, again, it's got all those tabs. So I could go back. I'll think about it. I might just make a new. I'll have to think about how I'm going to do that. But right now, I'm really happy to have this information here. Really happy to have the section title and the big title for the chapter. Does that for some reason not stand with the next? No, it should. I don't know. Oh, it has like an empty paragraph. That's why. Our house in the middle of the street. 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 Da 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 da. Ooh. Dun 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 dun. I don't think we even need that. Yeah, I don't think we need that. Well, yeah. And then this one. But this information is very useful. I'll keep that in there. Okay, you can see I'm getting rid of unwanted pilcrows. I'm not formatting these yet right now. Right now I'm just getting in lots of data. Those are definitions for public notice. And then now we have public notice classifications and requirements. You know, it says effective 5/23, effective 5/3/23, effective 5/3/23, enacted 5/3/23. But that technically renumbered stuff I am interested in. That one right there. But I'm not so much interested in this part. And then all that part is I've not formatted it yet. You can see the capital letters and all the other ones. But this I am going to go ahead and give it the section title. And that's it for chapter 30. Now we're going to go on to the next chapter. '31. Our house in the middle of the street. Our house is the place we'd go to eat. Our house. The welcome mat is where we'd wipe our feet. Our house. Do 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 do. Our house. Dun 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 dun. Our house. Our house. Dun dun. Do 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 do. Let's see, this one has 2 backspaces and a tab. And actually, we could even get rid of that little dot there too. See. So I could reprogram that tab replacer this time to be more appropriate. What's going on here? Chapter instead of part. Yeah. What else we got here? 202. Distinctions to protect individual privacy, did it say, or property? Privacy. I just got a mini cramp in my neck. I get those sometimes, and it's better to change positions, take breaks, stand up and stretch, and not work for such prolonged periods of time. I was about to wrap up. This is something I learned from my father. Say goodbye and then keep talking for 6 more hours. I would always say, whenever he'd say, I'm going to bed now, I'd say, I don't believe you. What's the next one? 63G 31301. Okay, so part 3, distinctions in in public schools. Yeah, thought I might be getting into this kind of stuff. Amended 2025. Well, I hope they made it more compassionate. Even though we got this kind of language in our state legislation, Utah tends to be compassionate with regard to these types of issues. So when someone breaks one of these laws, as is known to occur sometimes, the school administrators have the proper knowledge and understanding, and I guess probably educational background, etc., to where they're like, okay, we don't have to eviscerate this kid too much. We'll just let them know they broke the rule and they're in trouble. They can't do it again. Which is not like the most sensitive way to do it, but it could be a lot worse. And to me, it makes such a big difference. You know, you go in and talk to the vice principal, and you just kind of like show interest to listen to what he is ready to kind of describe or communicate about. And then you can always expand or adjust from there, or try to get more precise about certain information. That's if you're working with somebody who is communicating in good faith. This means it's somebody who wants to just do the right thing. They're not acting out of like a place of anger or hostility. And that's the situation I encountered. The local school administrator he was somewhat stern. You know, he has kind of a serious job and he has to keep a straight face in general with what he does. You know, making sure kids aren't breaking rules and stuff. But within that kind of framework, to me, he seemed very reasonable, polite, and considerate, and he was not like distasteful toward me in any way. Okay, so we just made it through chapter 31. Now we're on to chapter 32. I really just want to dump all these in here before I finish up for today. Sometimes if we have a bigger statute, then it makes sense to put in those titles, the part titles. What the heck? Oh, here we go. Definitions. Yeah, there we go. Definitions. Okay. This is a pretty small statute, so it's not like we really need to put in a ton of extra subtitles to say that part 1 is general information, which is actually definitions. Here we go. So part 1 ends up being definitions, but it's like we don't really need those extra titles for these small chapters. That's it for chapter 32, so that was very quick. That was an easy one. And now we have chapter 33. Looks like it's also going to be a pretty simple one. Free exercise of religion. Enacted 2024. Enacted 2024. Does that mean that this statute is actually relatively new, that we didn't have this kind of statute before? It's hard for me to see on that kind of stuff because Utah has done a lot to clean up its statutes. And by cleaning them up, I just mean they've like kind of renumbered them and organized them and clarified. It's the Utah statutes are relatively easy to go through and understand and make sense of. It may not seem like it, but it is. In comparison to even just 10 years ago, and definitely in comparison to 20 or 30 years ago, these statutes are very easy to understand. They're very easy to make sense of and make organizational sense of. Like, just if you think of me going through the process of, like, in any given set of these paragraphs, of just defining, like, which ones are going to have an indent, which ones are going to be outdented. You know, it's pretty easy to see just from the way the numbers and the lettering are, to very quickly be able to know how all this stuff should be lined up. See how I can do all that very quickly? Didn't realize this one was going to be so long. Like holding my breath while I'm doing this. Okay, whew, I made it to the end of that one statute. Okay. Just for demonstration purposes, you can see how it's going. Okay, so that was what? Definitions, and so another thing that I will do eventually is I'll come back through here with all these, and I'll change them into my special bold, 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 bold setting also. And again, I'll probably forget and not complete it, miss some of them. It's actually the most fun not with the mouse. It's the most fun by hand. Especially for these ones that have the little quotation marks that are sometimes easy to miss. Is that it? Substantially burden. Independent entity. Substantially burden. Means or includes. So this is what substantially burden means, but this is what substantially burden includes. Ooh, free exercise of religion. Okay, so we have the definitions, and now we have the free exercise of religion, limitations on burdens imposed by government, claims or defenses, attorney fees and costs. Amended 2025. And that's it. That's it. Okay. So I've grabbed out just the last 5 chapters, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Those are all very small. What else do I have in my table of contents here? So I grabbed all those ones. See, chapter 1's probably small, also state symbols and designations. But chapter 3 and chapter 4, I'm going to bet you are crazy big. Oh man, immunity. See, immunity could be interesting. You know, immunity affects many things. I'm going to call it quits for right now. But as you can see, this document is expanded. In fact, I'll use Control-Shift-S, save as. We're going to save it as GRAMA full 63G, but see, it's also got chapter 2, but it's also got chapter 29, 30, 31, and 32, doesn't it? And so it's really 63G is really what this is all about. Put a double underscore right here. Okay, so that's how I'm going to save it now. Eagle Dog, how can we get access to this for us to look at in a PDF or ODT or a .docx or .doc even? No, not a .doc. Fine, not a .doc, only a .docx. Thank you. You're welcome. How can we get access to it like that, Eagle Dog? Okay, dear chat, let me tell you what we'll do. If you subscribe to my channel, then sometime in the future, I'll figure out a way to make links to these documents and upload them somewhere upon the interwebs. Right now, I have no ideal spot to upload this to. I would have to literally think about it and figure it out and decide. And so I'm going to decide that some other time, not right now. Ooh, look, there's actually quite a lot. Symbols and designations. State language. Commemorative periods. Symbols, flags. State holy days. Okay, well, that has been the formatting of the Utah GRAMA Statutes 63G, General Government, Chapter 2, which is called Government Records Access and Management Act. I should almost just put that right up here. Government Records Access and Management Act. Maybe that'll help me to remember it. Government Records Access and Management Act. I would like to memorize that. Government Records Access and Management Act. Oh, vocabulary. So much vocabulary to memorize. This has been a production by Eagle Dog. My name is Matthew. Some people call me Ethan. Some people call me Mr. Magical. Utah Open Records. So I've been looking at the very, very deep back end of GRAMA statutes, formatting for printing, and then this is kind of some more simplified stuff that would be related to what we've been working on. Thank you to YouTube for making this streaming session possible. Thank you to OBS. Thank you to LibreOffice. Gracias.